Hello and welcome to today's much-awaited interview with the man himself, Siddharth Rajsekar. He is a musician turned digital geek. Sid has helped over 50,000 people in 4 countries build their own businesses digitally. And what's more, you don't even need any office employees and you can do it all by yourself. Please welcome Siddharth Rajsekar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here with us today. So Sid, tell me, before you began on this journey, what was your vision? What was it that you had in your mind that you could offer to the public at large? What was really going on? What was really cooking?
Well, let's go back to the year 2001. I was living on 3,500 rupees per month, biggest facility.
Wow.
I flunked out of college. So my parents were not very well to do at that point of time. We were financially in the lowest point in our life.
Okay.
And when I was doing my course in sound engineering, I was doing a music course back then in Chennai. And while I was doing that course, I was reading books like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and those are the sparks.
Yes.
So I really didn't have like a huge vision, but I only thought, I need to do something for myself. Let me not be working for somebody for the rest of my life, and let me create a cash flow where I don't want to be living in this 3,500 rupees per month for the rest of my life. So that's one of the starting points. Yeah.
The need to do something for your own self. That was the spark. That's brilliant. So how did it go ahead from there?
So I finished the course at 92%, though I flunked my 12th. I did really well there.
Okay.
So I'm not a graduate. I started teaching since the age of 19. Okay. So I used to be teaching people how to make music,
wow, that's awesome.
And stuff. Yeah.
Music lovers, listen.
Yes. So I used to teach people how to use software, make music. Long story short, because I was good at what I was doing, I was living in Dubai for 2 years, making ringtones for mobile phones and for games and so on. And came back to India, started to work with a lot of telecom operators. Used to manage app stores when the app store was not famous. I'm talking back in the day in 2005, 2006. And got married to a singer. My wife is a singer.
That's good. The music guy and the singer.
Yes. So the next phase was when we both launched an album online independently.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the best part is we did not make a single CD. We completely pushed it on iTunes. We had around 800 people who bought our album. And that's when I realized, the internet is growing so fast. If we just position ourselves the right way, we can sell things online.
So do you realize he's been a visionary most of the time, the futuristic leader. That's amazing. I'm so glad to be having this interview with you.
Thank you.
So what next? Before we go into the actual future, I would like to know what were your childhood aspirations, because a lot of our programming is done in the childhood itself.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, when growing up, what were your aspirations?
So I used to sing in the school choir for many years. So music and cricket, these two were I used to live and breathe it every day. So I studied in Bangalore in Bishop Cotton Boys, and I really have to thank my parents for giving me that exposure and giving me the opportunity to go and do a lot of extracurricular activities. So I used to spend the whole day playing in the school grounds. We used to live right opposite St. Joseph's hostel grounds in Bangalore.
Okay.
So all my childhood, I can only remember myself playing on the ground. I was mostly there for 7-8 hours a day. So I was very outdoor kind of a person. In fact, now I want my kids to emulate that same thing and not being their gadgets.
Listen to this, parents. Right.
Yes.
Right.
So those have been a very good foundation for me growing up, and even a lot of spiritual values. My parents inculcated that.
Wow.
So all those, I feel right now all that is adding up. It's really helped me in my foundation. Yeah.
It is said that spirituality really paves the way for you if you believe in it, or if you have the right faith. The grace is showered on you automatically. Did this ever happen with you?
Yes, I believe all of us, we are not human beings on a spiritual journey. We are spiritual beings in a human journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when we go back to understanding our roots, it's not about religion or any of these things. It's about a true sense of being, which is we are a spirit soul, and we are going through our evolutionary process, and we need to really discover who we are and live a life where we can reconnect ourselves with our creator and live a more purposeful life. So these were some of the seeds that were planted when I was young. And it took me only when I was 25 or 26 is when it fructified, where I realized that, enough of all this partying and all this stuff, the college days, just living recklessly to getting more conscious and living more consciously. Yeah.
Isn't that so humbling, guys? This is just so amazing to know. You got to be in his aura to understand what it really feels like. Nevertheless, tell me something more about your journey, because every human on earth believes that they need to succeed like this, pronto. But there are no quick successes, actually speaking. You need to grind a lot, and you need to do a lot of hustling and a lot of moving here and there, go through the failures or the struggles or the challenges, whatever you may call it. I would like to know, what were your challenges on the...
It was the year 2011. I lost my job. Okay, I was doing really well in my company. My boss gives me the pink slip. This was after the sound engineering days when I was working on the app store. I come back home and I tell Vanita that I just lost my job. She was 3 months pregnant. I had only 500 rupees in my bank account. And that was like I had to literally restart and relearn my life at that point, because I was not a graduate. I had to really literally rebuild myself, because we had financial issues at that point of time in our family. And that's when I pawned Vanita's gold jewelry and I invested in courses. I got into the internet marketing journey at that point in my life. So I would say, since you asked me what has been the biggest challenge, that was one of the milestones where I was in the rock bottom. But it was in that rock bottom where I had to create new ways to make money. And by the end of that year, I was able to set up my own agency. We had like 3-4 of us. And I've been running that agency for like 7 years now. We have 35 employees working. And yeah, I would never forget that moment. Coming back home, telling Vanita I lost my job, she points at her stomach and says, "What do we do about this child?"
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is such a terror moment for any man or a woman.
Yeah.
So, what was the thought process within you, within your body, when you had to actually go and break the news to Vanita, to your wife?
It was like, I felt like a loser.
You felt like a loser?
Felt like a loser. I felt like crap. I felt like I didn't do justice to my family. And then I made a decision, never ever will I bring my family into this situation ever again.
So did you believe somewhere that you could still make it?
Of course. Because of personal development, because of spirituality, because of this grounding, there's always a way. But at that point of time, yeah, I felt like crap, but I also felt the burning desire, I'm going to come out of this no matter what.
Himmate Marda, Madade Khuda. This person is a living example of the same. And moreover, it is also said, behind every successful man, there is a woman. And that is his wife. So I'm going to give the due credibility to her as well. So coming from there, how has the journey been right from that day one of learning the course? Was there any fear factor within you? Who were your mentors and what did they teach you on the way? When you see everybody succeeds, but you have your lowest low.
Yeah.
What one or two takes do you remember of your mentors advising you when you hit your rock bottom?
Yeah. So I've been learning from different internet marketers, and many of them have a similar story. They've never come or just been born with a silver spoon.
Right.
Many of them have come from the lowest point. One of my earlier mentors, he used to live in a van, and he went on to build a $200 million company. One of my initial internet mentors, and that was itself a huge inspiration. Like, if he can do it, I can do it. That feeling, that snapping point, that's what gave me the motivation to go on. And when you talk about fears are always going to be there. It's not something that you can overcome. But it's just making fear a friend and going along with it in any case.
I hear that. Fears are going to be there anyways. Whether you attain a task, if you don't attain it, there is always going to be fear.
Yes.
So how do you define overcoming fears?
So thanks to spirituality.
Yes, again.
Goes back to that. So fear is something to do with the mind. So if you're able to associate ourselves or keep ourselves in the right consciousness and in the circle of people who can, that gives us a larger perspective on life than just the trivial perspectives, then the actual value of that fear won't be there anymore. It's only when we are really attached to the things and you have this thing that you're going to lose it or whatever, that's where the fear kicks in. But when you start reading scripture, when you have that practice and looking at life from a different lens, then fear is what is that? What's the full form of fear?
False evidence
appearing real. Yeah.
Right. So does being in the company of spiritually evolved people help besides reading scriptures?
Definitely, because they are walking scriptures.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that terminology.
Yes.
They are walking scriptures.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So, if you had to guide the youth of today, as you know, there is instant gratification happening everywhere. Our kids are growing with instant gratification. The millennials are growing with instant gratification. What are 3 good life advices that you could offer from your life to them?
Okay, first thing I would say is don't care a shit about what other people think about you. Okay, because if you're living a life based on what others think about you, you are doing a great disservice to yourself, because those people who are thinking about you, or you feel they're thinking about you, they are thinking about what other people think about them. So don't waste your life, okay? Don't waste your life or make those decisions trying to prove a point to somebody that you're actually worthy. No, you are worthy, you can go out there and do that. So that's the first thing that I realized even when I flunked my 12th grade, went on to do this. Many people thought I was just another failure, drop out of college. And then I was able to rebuild myself, because those people, the same people who said that, you flunked your 12th, when I got successful, they're like, yes, I knew you could do this. That's how people are. So don't
who changes colors, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So don't worry about what other people would say. Second thing that I would say is you have to get back to your roots. So I always come back to spirituality, because today we're in a very materialistic world where everything is all about consumption, consumerism, and this whole thing of even wearing different masks. Like even on social media, people are living dual lives. They're posting something, but they're living a crappy life on the back end. So it's to be aligned to your living. Use these as tools to live a good life, but get grounded in spirituality in whatever form it may be. Meditation, something where you realize that it's not just about all the externals that you see. It is all about an inside out. It's not about an outside in approach. I always believe in the inside out approach. That's the second tip.
Yes.
And the third tip is discover how you want to contribute to this world. Because a lot of you may be guided by your uncles, your aunties, your parents based on their paradigm of the world, which is possibly 20-25 years back. But now the world is changing so fast that you have to start stepping into your power. And the average age of a millionaire in the US right now is 12 years old. So these paradigms of education, and you have to go through like so many years of studies and then get into a career, all those things are changing. So be open to learning new things and just go and try new things. I mean, that's my third tip, is not to go with conventional paradigms of living life or even the whole education system. Try new things.
That's amazing. I think we guys are blessed to have this kind of takeaway, because given the traditional ways of living and all that, we have such unconventional professions nowadays, and people are really loving it. Like the lifestyle that he is living is was not existent many years back.
Yeah.
So he's a living example. Don't be afraid to try.
Yeah.
All right, because you will never know where you could reach if you don't try.
Absolutely.
Speaking about spirituality, how does one maintain the balance between spirituality and the materialistic pleasures of life?
Okay.
Because this question has been faced by so many people who are spiritual, but they get fearful because they know it's a very slippery road.
Yeah.
So how does one really maintain that fine balance?
It's a brilliant question, and I've also been trying to discover an answer to this for many years.
That's so honest, yes.
And I stumbled into a few concepts. The first concept I stumbled into is minimalism. That means I like to have less and do more. That means I have very less clothes for myself. Actual materialistic things around me are less, but still I'm ambitious in my goals, because I want to give back and do a lot more things. And then I stumbled into another concept called essentialism, which is an evolved form of minimalism. It's not just about having less, but is to, whatever you do in life, whether it be things, whether it be your time, do it in a more conscious way, because it's very easy for others to rob your time. And if you're conscious about that, and the same way even when it comes to your things and the clutter and all the stuff, the way that you're living in your space, if you're able to minimize that or just keep it to the most essential of what is needed, you can live a much more productive life. I've seen that happen. In fact, when I moved from Bangalore to Chennai, when we made that shift, 80% of the stuff I just gave away. I gave it to the blind school. I realized that I was not even using most of the stuff, and
look at that.
It felt so much lighter. Trust me, It was so nice.
This I apply to thoughts as well.
Absolutely. It applies to thoughts, it applies to physical things, it applies to digital junk. What's on your phone, your apps, your files on your laptop, clean it up.
How does one really find their life's purpose? Because there are so many purposes happening around a person. How does one really resonate when they have, when they connect or resonate with 2 or 3? How do they really find that one life's purpose?
It's a tough thing, it's not something that easily, like a bulb getting switched on. Sometimes it happens through life's experiences. Like for me, I would say right now my life's purpose is to help people live a lifestyle of freedom, which is what my mission is right now. And for me to discover that, I had to go through a lot of phases of not being free, living and driving in traffic for 3-4 hours a day, working 18-19-hour days, not able to spend time with my family. And those situations helped me discover what was my purpose. Of course, this is more on an individual level, but coming back to spirituality, the ultimate purpose is to discover ourselves. It's a constant process, and success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So you need to have something worthy to go towards, and success is not a destination. It's something that you always keep rediscovering. So it's a process of getting better on a daily basis, and there is no end to it.
Tell us, how do people really live that freedom-filled lifestyle? How can people be really free?
Okay, so now it comes down to money, okay? Because money gives freedom. Many people, they don't want to go after money. So in order to create that money, or to create the cash flow to give you freedom, you need to have the right business model for it. And there are different types of businesses. You have manufacturing companies, you have distribution companies, you have services-based businesses, you have retail businesses, you have, I'll tell you, I talk about 7 business models. Then you have franchise businesses, you have aggregator businesses like Ubers and all these others. What I'm focusing on is a freedom business, where you can build a business around you by creating products, by selling other people's products as an affiliate, and by consulting, by doing high ticket consulting. So you are the expert, where you don't need an office, you don't need any employees. That's what I specialize in. So you can be sitting in your home with a laptop, and you can sell your own products and your services without needing anything. That's what is freedom for me. Yeah.
So now you know, if you want to lead a freedom lifestyle, a free life, you know whom to connect with. So thank you very much for your presence, and thank you very much for giving this beautiful interview and so much of valuable insights to our audience.
Thank you, Kashesh.
Thank you, and God bless.
Okay guys, just hit the like and subscribe button, share your comments below, and stay connected to all my social media links that I also posted down in the description. Go ahead and do that. See you guys.
Obey him. Please hit like and subscribe to my channel and all his social media links too. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All the best.